Welcome to Zama Victor English and Literature Academy, the home of English language and literature. Today, I'm going to lecture you on the literary period called the Victorian era. The Victorian era is an era that started around 19th century. It was a literary period which was triggered by a lot of many factors. This period was characterized by urbanization and industrialization. It was an age of reformation in the history of English language. It was triggered by a lot of factors. First is that it was first of this is what among the following is first is growth in urbanization and deterioration in the rural area. Second, I say it again, growth in urbanization and deterioration in the rural area. Another one is there is a need for political and social reform in England that time. There is a need for political and social reform that time. Another one is that poverty of the masses. Poverty of the masses. There is a kind of social. Another is that the poverty of the masses. The novel of that time we are reflecting the social and domestic life of the people. Not only that, it was age of social stratification. Social stratification. There is a class structure that time, which for people to work. Labor was element. And also another thing is that theory of evolution. That is scientific discoveries and growth in science, impact in science also is one another thing that led to this literary period because of it was age of science discovery. Many science inventions and science discoveries triggered this period, another experience of this period. Also, as I said earlier, it is an age of scientific discovery. The theory of evolution by Charles Darwin theory also influences this period. Most work of that time became to that is because of scientific discovery. People were made. In fact, these are the major features or tenets that characterize this period called the Victorian era. One is that the novel of that time were called a realism. It was the age realism in literature. It was the age of realism in literature. Not solely that, it was the age of social class. People became social conscious of their class structure of that time. There's a kind of social stratification. People became conscious of their class. Not only that, it was poverty of the masses. Novel of that time was talking about domestic issues, social life of the period, whereas their poetry reflects other periods. The poetry of that time reflects other periods. There is no unique period the literature of that time reflects. It reflects many periods, most especially the technique used by the writers of this period, where they use what is called dramatic monologue. Dramatic monologue is a literary technique in literature whereby a writer speaks to unknown character. In that kind of literature, whereby a writer speaks to unknown character, the presence of the audience is being experienced. We feel the presence of audience. Writers address to an unknown character. This is a dramatic technique which writers of that time are using. Also, the key technique used by that period is called, most of the writers are using what is called iambic pentameter. That's what another technique they are using that time. In fact, these are the features of the period. One is that the novel of that time were a realistic novel. Two, there is a kind of social structure, social class of the novel of that time reflects social class. That's what is known as social stratification, class conscious society. Not only that, the novel of that time reflects urban and social life. Also, not to the novel of that time, it was the age of realism. Novel of that time reflects realism of the period, which was mainly domestic and social life. Examples of writers of this period were Charles Dickens' Great Expectation. Charles Dickens wrote this time. Christopher Marlowe. Charles Dickens wrote this time. Matthew Arnold wrote this time. Alfred Lord Tennyson also wrote this time. Not only that, Robert Browning also wrote at this literary period. Most of their work reflects the societal norms. In fact, it was the age of poetry. They wrote poetry we are using in this time, and the poetry of this time make use of dramatic monologue as a key technique in which they use at this literary period. Not only that, their novel, their poetry reflects other periods. Which they use what is called dramatic monologue. Their novel reflects the society of that time. Then their novel, it was the age of novel or prose or age of essay. Many people wrote essay that time. Which examples of these people that wrote that time was Matthew Arnold wrote most of his essay. Matthew Arnold wrote most of his essay this period. Not only that, Alfred Lord Tennyson also wrote. Robert Browning also wrote. And also not only that, these are the major tenets of that period. One is social. It was a realism period. Realism, novel of that time will reflect realism of the period of that time. Not only that, social structure of that time, growth in urbanization and industrialization. The novel of that time reflect urban life and domestic issue of the time. Not only that, it also reflects the kind of poverty of the social poverty and the domestic labor, or people who are forced to work in labor, which reflect in the novel written by that time. Example of this novel were Charles Dickens' Great Expectation, and also his work also known as Oliver Twist. That was the novel that reflect that time. Not only that, Ebenezer Scrooge by Charles Dickens. Ebenezer Scrooge, which are not written. Christmas Carol reflect that time. Not only that, other literary work written that time reflect the society of that time. Please, this period is a period that a kind of this, in fact, social. The people were forced to work a labor, which reflects under that time. There was domestic and social labor. Domestic social life of that people of that period was written in the novels. Not only that, the novel, there's kind of social stratification, social class conscious spirituality. The novel that reflects urban and mainly the urban life of the people of that time. Thank you. Subscribe more on my YouTube channel. Subscribe more on more information on the Victorian era, which was a 19th century novel. Thank you.